Welcome to An Author's Dream. I'm your host, Brigid Kennedy. This scene is a continuation of Chapter 2. We are still in Galway, Ireland, in the setting of Ormore Castle, celebrating the 50th wedding anniversary of their grandparents. Before we jump into the reading, I would like to share with you a picture of the Waltz. A reading from Lost, the Lost City of Incan Gold, Chapter 3. Guests turned towards me, raising goblets and offering well wishes, forming an eager mob that seemed ready to swallow me whole. My future was publicly snatched away before I could even protest. My stomach lurched. Damn that whiskey. Before I could make sense of the chaos, a pair of hands seized my corseted waist and whirled me onto the dance floor. My breath caught somewhere between shock and disbelief. The jolt sent my head reeling and my stomach tilting. My thoughts cursed my current situation. What a great warrior I'm turning out to be. When I unexpectedly face-planted into a solid chest that was lined with a midnight black suede jacket. As I stumbled through the opening steps of a waltz, the clan's air chided me. What a dour look, cat. A smile would suit ye well. You're about to be a princess. Lady, I glared up at him. It's Lady Kennedy to you. Once I found my footing, I gathered the courage to put my future back on track. Knowing this tyrant could only understand simple words, I said, this sham of marriage is not happening. Not now, not ever. You can go pin your princess title on someone else. Sham? He held his smile in place, perfect white teeth on display for the onlookers. You cut me true and deep, straight to me heart. As if you even have one. Cut me true and deep. Wait till I get out of this dance hold. I'll show him how deft I am with a blade. Besides, I'm leaving soon, for good. Neither you nor any O'Flaherty can stop me. And where exactly do you think you're going? I lifted my chin. Back home to Peru and to my true family. He scoffed, muttering something under his breath. It sounded like, what family? Before I could demand an explanation, he leaned down. Ye, my soon-to-be wife, aren't going anywhere. He quickened our pace, spinning us across the floor. My right hand remained imprisoned in his cold grip while his other arm tightened around my waist. His scent swirled around me like incense from a Catholic mass, but laced with something raw and dark that struck fear into my soul. I squirmed against his grip. Tisking in disapproval, he pressed me tighter against him and leaned down to whisper in my ear, I'll not let ye escape. His seductive words, combined with the alluring scent that enveloped us, awakened something within me, causing my core temperature to spike and my toes to curl deliciously inside my satin shoes. The unwanted sensations flooding in my body sent a wave of disgust through me, while my reactions betrayed my morals. A raw magnetism tore through every one of my defenses until I was acutely aware of his masculine presence before me. My pulse raced as his corded arms supported our dance frame, his sculpted torso pressed against my chest, and his solid thigh wedged between mine, igniting a shameful heat with every box step. Swept up in the waltz's central theme, Shamus loosened his tight grip on my frame and repositioned my gloved hand to mirror the other resting on his broad shoulder. Then, with a swift movement, he slid his hand to my midriff, intimately guiding me through his steps. Despite how improper this new dance hold was, I found myself grateful for the double-sided shield. My silk-clad arms hid the onlookers' laughter and merriment from my view as I blushed with mortification. When I ducked my scarlet cheeks between my elbows, my gaze darted to a painful patch of skin on the center of my inner forearm. Under my left glove, my new tattoo, the 3 cross blades surrounding a chevron, marking me as a clan warrior, burned like fire. Wonderful. Even my family crest burns with shame. My ancestors must be turning over in their graves at the sight of me dancing with an O'Flaherty. His touch traced higher, fingertips grazing my collarbone. Shivers spread across my skin. That twisted scent thickened around us, and I leaned closer, even as my mind screamed warnings I could not hear. For just a heartbeat, something flickered behind those piercing blue eyes. Not cruelty, not calculation, something almost lost. A boy trapped in a monster's skin. Then it vanished. The cold mask snapped back so fast I wondered whether I imagined it. He cupped my jaw, dark hair sliding forward to frame his gaze, until all I could see was him. His lips moved in a low, rhythmic whisper, speaking words I did not recognize, ancient, Celtic, almost like a chant. Our bodies moved as one. With every spin, I spiraled deeper into something I could not name. The wrongness pressed against my consciousness, yet I couldn't break free. Just as everything started to go fuzzy, the music reached its riveting conclusion. He performed one last spin directly in front of my brother. At the end of our synchronized twirl, his eyes hardened. He lifted his gaze above my head to Robbie and informed him, "I'll gladly take from your sister the debt ye owe me in full." Treating me like his newfound treasure, he gently placed me in my brother's arms. His cool fingertips lingered for one last touch, grazing the top of my shoulder and then sliding under the weight of my hair. I stood, lost in the sight of my locks slipping through his fingers like golden silk. Robbie jostled me protectively into his retreating arms. With hazy, spellbound eyes, I watched Shamus vanish into the mass of the congratulating crowd. Chapter 2 ended with Demon O'Flaherty declaring a marriage announcement between his son and Catalina. And in Chapter 3, it starts off with Kat acknowledging that someone else has now taken over her future, decided for her. She has no voice, no opinion in the matter now. And I went on to write, my future was publicly snatched away before I could even protest. Her whole world is turning upside down, including her stomach, and she comically blames the whiskey as she face plants against a solid, hard chest that's lined by a midnight black suede jacket. And we all know who that is because we identified that character from Chapter 2 with the exact same description, Shamus O'Flaherty. The next part of the chapter is the conversation, and in just a few precious paragraphs, I was able to capture Shamus's persona and how Kat reacts to him. Shamus embodies everything the O'Flaherty clan is: untouchable, powerful, arrogant, and as heir of the clan, he behaves exactly as you would expect him to. His first words to Kat is, "You look prettier with a smile." And he says it, "What a dour look, Kat. A smile would suit ye well." And then he goes on to tell her, "You're about to be a princess," which tells the reader that titles is very important to him because he is the prince of a clan, and he believes that the title of princess would win her over. But to Kat, he's not a prince. He's not a white knight in shining armor. He's just an O'Flaherty. And I love her response to him. "Lady." I glared up at him. "It's Lady Kennedy to you." So she puts him right back into his place. How dare he call her by her nickname? Only her friends and family does that. And she really puts her title right in front of him, Lady Kennedy. She thinks so little of him that he can only understand simple words. And so she puts it to him. "This sham of a marriage is not happening. Not now. Not ever. You can go pin your princess title on somebody else." I just love that of her. And he's almost taken off guard by her smart wit and comebacks. And he replies, "Sham?" like he's hurt somehow. And he holds that perfect smile in place for all the onlookers, all the other lords and ladies surrounding them, watching them waltz. And he goes on to say and teases her, "You cut me true and deep, straight to me heart." And she throws it right back to him, as if you even have one. You can really see the tension between the two, playing up big time here. And she goes on to think about his words, "cut me true and deep." And then she remembers all of her master of blade skills, and she has the 2 daggers in her skirt only if she could reach him because he's pinning her with this dancing frame. And she was like, "As soon as I get out of this dance hold, I'm going to show him how good I am with a blade." And then she goes on to say, "Besides, I'm leaving for good. Neither you nor any other O'Flaherty can stop me." And he continues to be condescending to her and tease her. And, "Where exactly do you think you're going?" And she lifted her chin with her Kennedy pride. And she says, "Back home to Peru and my true family." And at that moment, he scoffs and he whispers under his breath, "What family?" And it kind of shows that the O'Flahertys know more than what they're letting on. And later on in the book, you're going to find out exactly what happened to her family. But the fact that he knows right here, right at the ball, is a huge telling. And in the novellas, the prince's point of view, where it's this waltz told from Shamus's point of view, you will find out exactly how he knows this information and how he's actually trying to tell her, but he's being held back by something that's taken over him, and he can't control it. It can control him, but he's trying every single little bit that he can to help the girl that he has been in love with for years. You can sense his desperation to claim her by his words and his actions and how quick he is right back into it. "Ye, my soon-to-be wife, ain't going anywhere." And right then he speeds up their waltzing pace, spinning her, and still imprisoning her arms, her hands in that dancing hold. And she notices something. A scent that swirls around her like incense from a Catholic mass, but laced with something raw and dark. And it struck fear into her soul, that twisted scent. And as scents or perfumes can, they can impermeate the air around you. And she sensed it swirling around her. She's breathing it in. It's creeping over her skin, seeping down into her pores. And it's causing a reaction with her to dull and fog her senses. But yet she still squirms against his grip, and he chides her and teases her. He's like, I will not let you escape. Those same words that haunted her, the ones that she remembered as she was running for her life down the cobblestone streets of Galway, trying to make it to the safety of the harbor, those words are going to be pinned into her mind for a very long time. At the beginning of this waltz, you can see the very clear lines that were drawn between Shamus and Kat, and their clear feelings between them. But as their proximity to each other increases and their dancing speed increases and that scent is swirling around them, she starts getting her morals and her actions all blurred. And she knows what she's doing, and she knows that she got to get away from Shamus as fast as possible. But her body is almost being taken control by that scent. And you can see it in the waltz that she's starting to lean into him, find his masculinity alluring. And it alarms her so much, but she can't prevent it. She can't stop her own body from leaning into him, from wanting what is right in front of her. I talk about the novellas in Shamus's point of view, and I do have a paragraph in here that kind of leads into that, where for just a heartbeat, something flickered behind Shamus's piercing blue eyes. And for once, it wasn't cruelty or calculation. It was something almost lost, a boy trapped in a monster's skin. And that's a huge seed, a huge clue onto what's really happening here, the behind the scenes of what Kat's point of view is to what really Shamus is feeling. But I also, in the very next sentence, goes on to say that it vanished. That cold mass snapped back so fast, she wondered whether she even imagined it. So whatever's happening to Shamus, whatever's controlling him, realize that flicker of the true Shamus coming out, and it shut it down quick. And that cold mass came back. And the very next paragraph, Shamus starts chanting. Not just saying any words, but ancient Celtic words that he should not even know. And it's putting on a spell onto Kat. So she is being enveloped in this twisted raw incense that's swirling around her, creeping over her skin, seeping into her pores. And now she's being spellbound by Shamus's Celtic ancient words. These words, they spiral even deeper with every single spin that they take. And she knows it's something that she can't name, can't put a finger on what's happening. But the wrongness that pressed against her consciousness, she could feel it. She named it as wrongness, and she couldn't break free from it. And everything started going fuzzy during the waltz. And then right there at the end, she notices his look, his intent harden as his gaze goes right above her head, straight to Robbie. And just the fact that he looks at her one way and he looks at Robbie in a completely different way can really showcase his feelings here. And then he treats her like his newfound treasure. He lingers his touch onto her shoulder, and her hair, as he's pulling away, falls through his grip like like a waterfall of golden silk. And Kat is just completely mesmerized at this point. She's in this spell. She's in this haze. She doesn't quite know what's going on, but yet Robbie comes back through with his protectiveness as an older brother, and he pulls her back from Shamus. And all she can do is keep her eyes on her waltzing partner, on Shamus. And she says, I watched Shamus vanish into the mass of the congratulatory crowd. If I could say one thing to Kat Kennedy, I didn't write you to break you. I wrote you because I knew you could carry it.
You could have warned me about Shamus.
Would you have gone?
No.
The fates do not punish, Kat.
They prepare.
It is my favorite part of the episode, unboxing time. And last episode, we got to unveil the baseball cap with the Kennedy crest. Absolutely love it. And I'm told something else, something brand new is in this box. Let's see what's in it. Let's pop these little tapes off and get into it. It's a coffee mug. Look at it. All right, we have the Kennedy crest, and it is the 3 cross blades surrounding a chevron ring, which means the Master of Blades crest. And the saying here is, it's time to battle up, which is one of my favorite quotes, and it's given by Maria telling her brother Bastian, brother, it's time to battle up. Next week, join me for a new episode of An Author's Dream. Like and subscribe.